Good evening. We are back for another fun-filled day with Liz making lace. I'm just stabbing poor old Hedgie with a bunch more pins because, well, you can never have too many. And while I'm doing that, I thought I'd chat to you. So, I get quite frustrated when I look back at how long I've streamed and sometimes how little like it feels like my lace has grown for the day. It's not that, and I was talking to a lovely lady earlier. She's somebody's mother who has volunteered to help me get hold of some replacement curved pins for my end finder. You know, the one that the stick I've got with the bent pin on the end that I shove through the holes to get the ends of bobbins to do the finishing. And I was explaining I've got a couple of weeks before I even need to use it next, so, I'm not desperate, because they're going, oh, well, we might be busy this afternoon. Dude, you've got weeks, I've got a working pin. I've got one that works. It looks a little bit second-hand, but then it is second-hand. I got it second-hand. So, let's be reasonable here. I'm not, picking my nails with it. I'm poking it through a small hole. However, it does show signs of wear, and therefore I've been looking for a backup pin for it. And she was most understanding and seemed to think that I was being quite reasonable. And I was talking to her about the pins, because she was going, oh, well, I need to, what size thread are you using? And I went, well, I'm using, 0.5mm fat pins. And she goes, oh, they're not fat. And I went, well, they are compared to the 0.35mm pins that have just bent because I said the word pin. And she kind of went, yeah. Because those, as we know, I did not have a lot of luck with those pins. I looked at them and they bent. So, clearly I'm not the only one who's suffered from that. But apparently these are not considered fat pins. This is a good thing. I feel even more proud that these are not considered fat pins. Because I like these pins, and these are going to be my go-to pin. I mean, part of me actually has considered maybe even fatter pins for some things. Because, well, fat pins are strong and sturdy and good things. So, there. I've added a few more spines to Mr. Hedgie. There we go. Oh, Rory's just coming up. Rory has a thing to tell you. So let's get going with the lace. Take that over there. Put Hedgie over here for now. There you go, Hedgie. My darling dog Rory. Has a very big soft spot for handymen up ladders. I mean, he likes people. Don't get me wrong. He is a lovely dog who likes people, and he is a little over keen when he says hello to people, and it can be slightly off-putting because, in true kind of, while he's not technically a staffy, but in kind of staffy form, being stand by 20 pound of muscle is kind of unpleasant. It's not what a lot of people want in their life. They don't wake up in the morning and go, hey, I want to be body slammed by a 20 pound 20 kilo dog. So with that in mind, Rory is an acquired taste. Now, he's nice. He means to be nice. He doesn't want to hurt you. He isn't a bad dog. He's just over enthusiastic and not exactly careful. So, as we know, I look like I played with Wolverine. I mean, you can see the scratches. This was Rory. He got a little overexcited when I scratched his nail. He had a lump on his nail I thought was mud. I scratched it. Well, it wasn't part of the dog, is all I need to say to that. But he scratched me in the kind of what you're doing kind of manner. Not to kill me. He wasn't trying to kill me or bite me or anything. He has succeeded in biting me, but that's another story. He didn't set out to bite me. He was trying to bite his sister, actually. And got me instead. That's... You can't really see it, but there's a lump here. Yeah, that was Rory biting his sister and missed. So, but, you know, I am the one that bears the brunt of it. My ex-husband is made of paper, and I advised him to buy a gauntlet, literally, because it seems to be only one arm on him, and it's, funny enough, his right arm. And he does get scratched quite a bit. Through clothing, because part of the reason I wear these jumpers is it's the equivalent of fur. But I also wear these jumpers because I like wearing these jumpers, and I wore these jumpers before I met Rory, and chances are, sadly, once Rory is old enough and has passed on to new clouds, I will continue to be wearing my beige jumpers. So it's not an anti-Rory device, but I will say it does help. So let me just check that this is what I think it is, and I did add the pair that I needed to in the corner, because, well, you know, we want to make sure we haven't screwed it up before we start, you know. Right, so yes, but Rory definitely has this bro crush, and more importantly for Rory, his bro crush will be coming back next week. So Rory's all excited. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because, as I said, his bro crush is coming to see him next week. For the man clears gutters for a living, and the one around my garage is pretty skanky. I have had work done on it in the past, but I also know that I'm not saying they did a bad job, because they didn't, but the downpipe from it constantly blocks, and I do need to get it sorted. So he is coming. I've warned him of the downpipe. He is not under illusion that, you know, it's all perfect and, you know, there is nothing wrong. He is, you know, very much in the aware of it's blocked, it's, you know, it's going to need help, and it could be a messy job. So Rory's bro crush will be coming to do work on our house, not next door's house, next week. We've all seen the well, hope many of us have seen the picture of the dog who goes to the vet and looks at the vet, look like who, you know, that this is the personification of love eternal. That absolutely undying, devoted face, and it is a very beautiful photo as a result, because this dog has the soppiest, devoted, oh my god, you're so lovely look on its face, right? This is a bit what Rory's like. Rory, when he loves somebody, wants to be close to them. And touching them as a body slam, so kind of like pancaked on your chest, is not close enough. It's not inside your skin. So Rory has this need to be kind of inside your body. You know, if he could like unzip you and climb in and do the zip up, that's what he'd do, right? He is, and don't get me wrong, he does it to me a lot, and you know, so he clearly likes me too. That's good, because I own him. But this bloke said hello to him, and hello Rory, because I introduced him, and I picked him up so he could kind of pat him on the head, and so he got touched by his bro crush. Oh my god, it's like a, you know, lovesick teenager when you know, in a film where the boy, you know, smiled at her or something, she all but faints and passes out and, you know, dreams of marriage. This is Rory. This is where he's at, right? So Phil the bro crush will be back next week, and I will lose my marbles because Rory will not be out in the garden helping him, and Rory will go insane, and so will I. So that'll be fun. But I did speak to this lovely lady about making basically curved needles. These, you can't see it, let me hold it over the thing. These curved needles and that they are a beautiful J shape, and I want more. So she's going to bend me. Her and her son are going to bend some for me. And frankly, I'm as happy as a pig in poo at that. That's fine. You know, it's not like I need 500 of the bloody things. You know, to be honest, one should be enough, but it's already got a little bit tarnish on it. It's already got... I just want to back up in case something goes wrong, because I explained to her, you know, lots of people have the bent ones, and sure, I could get a pair of pliers and bend a needle, but I don't get on with the bent ones, I get on with the curved ones. So, I need the impossible, because all the curved ones you can buy, she says, grabbing some, hang on, like these, are A, C-shaped, and B, fat. They're upholstery needles, designed to go through, you know, almost carpet-like material. Well, delicate lace is hardly carpet, and we need, you know, a more delicate a needle, arguably, to go through the stupid little hole made by the pin, which is why I was quite pleased to be able to tell her the size of my pin, because that is the hole that I will be stabbing it through. So realistically, kind of around that size is a good size. I'm not a needle aficionado. Now, unlike crochet hooks and knitting needles, where I'm quite accurate in looking at the size of those and going, oh yes, that's a this. Sewing needles, no. They have letters and numbers, and it works a little bit like crochet thread, I believe, in that size 4 is really fat and size 50 will be, you know, hair thin. But I don't really know that much about them. And so I need to be able to get a piece of thread through it, so it needs to be a needle. That I do know. And you know, it's just a case of I need to be able to poke it through with a bit of thread through it so that I can grab the end, the other side, and pull it through. It is not performing a hard task here. I'm not, you know, chiseling concrete with it. So you really wouldn't think... Oh, thanks for that for screwing up. You really wouldn't think that it would be... You know, that you would think that they would last kind of forever. And sure, maybe it will. And given... Because I explained to her what I was making. I explained, you know, I made a couple of bookmarks and kind of went, yay, let's make a net curtain. And she goes, oh, well, it'll be ages before you get on. Well, no, not really. And she went, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm making it. She goes, oh, so you're joining them together? Yeah. It's going to look a bit pants, but it's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's too many. How is it too many? How is... That's because... we didn't lose one there. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm doing my Muttley impressions. I do belittle myself a lot. You can thank my parents for that. Well, basically, I do it because that's what my parents did. They belittled me for every little mistake I ever made. Nothing I ever did was good enough. Therefore, I do exactly the same to myself. I sit there and tell me how shit I am. And because, well, that was normal. Right, let's pull you out. And let's sort this out here. Because you were very unnecessary. Right, so it should be over, twist, over, and we should untwist you. No, it's the wrong way around. And untwist you again. You should already have been out of the deal. You weren't in it yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the correct number. We then put the pin back. I did a little bit more work on my animation, but not a lot. To be honest, after work today, I slept like the dead. I had a bit of a snooze, and when I woke up, I would have sworn it was tomorrow. I really would. I would absolutely have sworn it was tomorrow. I slept so hard. I couldn't believe it was the same day and only an hour later. I, kind of slept so hard I deleted myself during that hour. I have no knowledge of the universe of this time, Yeah. It could have been 2026, whatever year we're in now. We're in 2025, aren't we? Yeah. It could have been 2026 by the time I woke up, for all I knew. It was definitely one of those kind of moments. So, yes. So, I didn't do much with it today. It was a bit disappointing. I put some windows in. A carpet. The windows are in the kitchen and the sitting room, so I've got 5 windows, I think. They're not exciting windows, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Have I got it open or have I got something else open? No, hang on. Let me show you. And you'll see what I mean by not exciting windows. Let that open in background for a bit. You can do its thing. I can do a bit more of this. Of course, this won't happen unless I'm wiggling the bobbins. My bobbins from Spain are taking a very long time. Feeling slightly disappointed with that. Had expected them to turn up a lot quicker. Most things from Spain do not take a lot of time. But to be honest, they haven't moved in a week. According to the tracking, they haven't moved anywhere in Spain. They're at a particular place in Spain. I don't know what it is because I don't speak Spanish. But it hasn't moved for a week. I don't see why not. I mean, it's a handful of wooden sticks. I mean, it's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world. It's not like I've ordered glitter and that it could be drugs or something. The truth of the matter is it's a bunch of wooden sticks. Come on. Right, let me see if my Unity thing's open. There you go. So, if I poke my Unity, and hit go, you can see there that I'm not going to move around a lot, but I've added a couple of windows and some curtains and a carpet so that they all kind of colour match. Other than that, I haven't really done anything. So, it's not exactly grown a lot today. But I did solve the thing that was causing me a problem at work, so hallelujah on that. And this bobbin's looking dangerously low. Well, we shall see. I mean, it's surprising that that's probably a metre of yarn. So it possibly is enough to do the whole of the next. Because it does do the longest journey. What's she doing? Does do the longest journey, so, it does tend to get the most use. And looking at the other 2 bobbins, maybe I got these around the wrong way. When I put them on this way. But never mind. Such is life. Because if you look at these two look pretty full. Whereas these look pretty empty, so yeah. You're over there. I need 2 of you. Stick! Now actually we're not going to stick these, because what we're actually going to do is slide everybody around to keep them in their groups, but put you in here. You're a bit short, making life awkward. Okay, and then you can go in the pile over there. You lot can go back over there, but a bit further up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're all good. We pull off one of Hedgie's spines. I'm beginning to really like Hedgie. But anyway, the lady I was talking to this morning, I I said to her about, how it's taking me like a month to do each square. And she didn't go, wow, that's slow, or anything like that. But I said, the problem is I don't feel the actual lace making portion is particularly slow. It's the poking of the pins in to hold everything in place. And she kind of went, yeah. So it isn't just me, It really isn't. If we could do without a lot of the pin stuff, we would, maybe get on a lot faster. I also had a book arrive today. Where is it? Now, we remember the Bucks Point bookmark of glory. There it is. So I had 2 bits to post today. As you know, I randomly buy things off eBay and stuff. And I bought a thing about thistles. So if I shake these down, you can see that there's this beautiful thistle. And it came with a lovely little note. And basically, she included a whole pile of other stuff. Now, I will say this about the lace makers on eBay. Nearly every single one of them, you buy something and they go, do you make a lot of lace? And you kind of go, well, I'm trying. And they go, great, and send you a pile of stuff. So I've got some other bookmarks and some little flowery dongle things and some example lace with some patterns, an edging of My Extreme Nightmares because it's got fucking picos in it. Something with a torsion edging for some stuff, some flowers, another pattern, another edging. And all I did was buy a thistle pattern, and I paid a lot less than originally they wanted. And then there's one with 4-leaf clovers. As that's not the actual thing. Obviously, it's a piece of paper, but there's the actual pattern for it. There's one with kind of flowers. And there's the flowering smaller. There's another edging and a collar. So I got quite a big pile of stuff for my 15 quid. Considering, I think originally it was up for £25, and I kind of went, I kind of liked it and kind of went, I'll come back and think about that. And I was like, 25 quid for one bookmark seems a little bit much. I mean, it is no longer really sold and all the rest of it. But the other thing I got, was I have seen this book, and I was really interested in this book, and I've been looking around, and every time I saw it, everywhere I saw it, it was priced 300 and something pounds. I present to you the book, Floral Bucks Point Lace, and it's quite a thick book, look. I think I paid £14 for it. And it's got a cover on it to help it, and it is absolutely immaculate. It's in perfect condition. It's got a whole pile of weirdy stuff in it. And I paid 14 quid for it. And I do know that lots of people rave about this because it's got lots of things and, to try and lots of different techniques and things. And I'm sitting here going, I mean, am I going to make everything in it? Heck no. Which is why I didn't want to pay £200 for it, obviously. Because, if you were going to make absolutely everything from it and maybe sell what you make, and you don't mind spending a fair bit of money on it because you get your money back. But when you're doing it for a laugh, you kind of... I mean, I've spent far too much on this hobby already, to be honest. What with books and 58 billion bobbins and a bunch of pillows, which of course I'm keeping an eye on another pillow because there's another pillow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with all of this in mind, I've already spent plenty. I really do not need to be excessively spending on it. I have no great need for it. My ability to see interesting patterns far exceeds my ability to make them because, as we know, they do take a while. they're not a kind of an evening per thing job. If it only took an evening to make the square, life would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Because you'd manage one a night, so you could easily manage, well, 7 in a week. It would take less than a month to do the whole freaking curtain, right? Now, in some ways, that would be cool. In other ways, I think it would lose some of its value. And this is one of the things that I do think we as society do lose a little bit. Because, for example, we can go down Primark, Pound Shop, Dollar Store, whatever it is, right? And buy a jumper, a shirt, a pair of trousers, whatever it is. A lot of people, not everybody obviously, but a lot of people don't tend to value the item they have. They won't take as much care for it. And to be honest, that's quite apparent when you look at people with their mobile phones. Even some adults. They buy £1,000 worth of mobile phone, and within 6 weeks it's got a cracked screen with it, not unusably cracked, but it's got a big crack in it. And they moan about it, and then they buy another one the next year. That's £3 plus a day to buy that phone. And within 6 weeks, you put a crack in it. You dropped its resale value from a few hundred at least to next to nothing, right? I mean, it still works, so someone will give you something for it, but, no one by choice is going to buy a broken one. Because they don't know that how much damage maybe other is done to it, it just doesn't show yet. And obviously, one sneeze of water that maybe it would have survived previously, now it won't because it's got a crack in it. So with all that in mind, we live in a society where we throw everything. You think of all of the white goods that, were sold in the days of our parents. Your washing machine used to, their washing machine lasted 25 years. Their fridge, you got one when you got married, and frankly, it went out with you, right? We don't do that anymore. Our white goods barely last the 3 years warranty that you buy with it. If you bought an extended warranty, usually you've had to call on it. Some of them don't even last a year. And this is becoming more and more true because obviously, like everything, companies are trying to make as many as they can in a shorter time as they can, while at the same time producing it for the least amount of money so they can make as much profit. Now, we don't begrudge them that principle because, heck, we're all a little bit like that. To be fair, most people do not. I mean, again, there are exceptions, but most people, if, for example, I was going to come and paint your room and it takes £35 worth of paint, I'm highly unlikely to charge you, say, 40 quid, which covers that and a quick trip for a cheap sandwich down the sandwich shop at lunchtime. It doesn't work that way. Average cost for painting your room in the UK-ish is over £500 for a couple of days' work. Now, it's not that they don't do plenty of prep work, it's not that they don't, and that's often not including the paint. Now, there are some delusional people who think that 500 quid's only for the paint. No, trade paint is not that expensive. Sorry, love. But even if you buy the really expensive stuff, because it's tax-free. Anyway, but everyone doesn't want to do anything. No one does things for nothing, right? People do not generally do anything for nothing. I mean, hell's teeth, you could argue in 52 seconds, I am arguably maybe potentially getting 2 cents for the ability of you lot watching ads. I don't, by the way, because there's no one watching, but that's not the point. I think out of the 6 months that I've been doing this now, well, it's not quite 6 months, is it? It's about 5 months because I think I started in September. So yeah, 4 months. I think I've amounted $30, and that includes 3 people sending me subs. I'm impressed that it thinks I've earned $30, because I'm not quite sure how. But of course I haven't earned $30 because I don't get $30. They take tax off it, and they won't send it to me till I've got $50 in the kitty. And so, you know, that could take another couple of months. So I'm not exactly going to get minted out of doing this, and I don't expect to. I really don't. I don't expect anyone to watch this. I am pretty much doing this. I've always said that one of the things that used to annoy me about YouTubers, bear in mind this goes on YouTube as well, one of the biggest things that used to annoy me were the YouTubers who would do this. They would clamour, and I mean beg, clamour, and kind of go nuts and try and do 1,000 things to be the centre of attention and get lots of views. Now, if that's what you want to do, that's great. But then don't complain when you succeed. I don't expect anyone to watch this, especially on YouTube. I don't expect anyone to subscribe to me on Twitch because... Oh, here come the ads, but I'm pretty sure there's no one watching, so I'll keep talking because the recording will go on YouTube anyway. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I have no expectation that people should want to watch this. I am doing this for the reason that I've always said that everyone should make videos on YouTube, because they want to. Not because they feel they must, not because someone, you know, I mean, you can cover a subject that someone's asked about. So, for example, I am thinking of doing a bit of how to get started, you know, early steps and a few stitches and some of the differences and how to pick and design your own patterns and... you know, how to decide what works for you. Well, simple answer to that is make a strip, join a few, make some, you know, make different combinations of stitches and decide whether you like it or not. It really is no more complicated. But, you know, to sit there and to give people a bit of a confidence to try, because I don't expect you to want to do this. I mean, it could be. I enjoy watching videos of people doing things. Now, some of the things they do, I have zero interest in doing myself, but I can still find it interesting to watch. I used to watch makeup artists for that very reason. I don't wear makeup. I've never worn makeup. I feel like a clown and I usually look like one. So I don't bother. I don't own any. And I did try for my wedding. Yeah, that was a good idea. But, you know, other than that, pretty much I don't bother. Now, it doesn't mean I don't find it interesting to watch how it's done. It doesn't mean that I am not intrigued by some of the things. So, for example, I am no surgeon, but I can still I used to love watching the series in the 80s called Their Life in Our Hands, or Your Life in Our Hands or something, where they would do colossally, almost groundbreaking surgeries and show how it was done. On one of them, they straightened some poor spina bifida kid's back. And obviously, you know, they slice flip them over, get the back, slice it all open, expose all the spine, drill loads of rods into it, and then crank it. I mean, it is as brutal as you might think it would be. Now, admittedly, they don't just get one big long pole and crank everything dead straight and go, ta-da! They crank it, they put it in such a way that they can crank it a bit, and then let it kind of chill for a bit, and then, you know, in a month or two, crank it a bit, and, you know, straighten it a bit more, without having to do more surgery. But, you know, they did things like that, and I did watch the brain surgery live. I was incredibly disappointed by that. Do you know why? It was 5 hours of watching two people who had no clue about surgery whatsoever, other than they were pretty faces, and talking about, oh, well, in the next section, we will see... No, I actually want to see the brain surgery. All you actually really saw was the initial bit where, you know, man gets a bit of, you know, cuts off like a bit of skin and then, you know, drills a little bit. And then, oh, they've got to the stage where they've put in the No, I wanted to see them do the bit where they poke around and they go, "Can you count to 10?" And they kind of goes, 1, 2. Not that bit. Yeah, because that's how it works. And I really wanted to see that. But it was still an interesting program because they were saying that basically the guy they were doing it on had severe epilepsy, and well, it wasn't epilepsy, but he had severe tremors and almost a form of epilepsy as a result. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Okay, so you go under that one, over that one. And he used to be a musician, and they literally put these probes in and did a bit of a test, and then handed him a thing, and he's kind of in the corner. They turn it on, his tremors go, and he plays beautifully, right? And it was glorious, and they were saying how with different parts of the brain that they can potentially overcome other things. And one of the other things that they can potentially look to overcome is depression, hunger. People like me who are constantly hungry, if they can, because what they do is they actually turn up the noise in your brain in that area so that your brain signals just become lost in the noise. And so they could tune down your hunger, that they could tune out your depression. And I was fascinated by that idea. Unfortunately, that was about as much as they covered it. I would have been really keen to hear more of that. So I really like these things. I'm also a bit of a Dr. Pimple Popper kind of girl. I quite like, there is a bit of a morbid fascination of, what do you mean you've had something the size of your head on your back for 20-something years, and you're telling me you've never tried stabbing it? What kind of human being are you? Like most human beings, if I have a strange bit growing out of me, I squeeze it, pick it. How do these people not? Because I can tell you now. Yeah, I have. I have poked and squeezed and prod things. I've also trimmed my own skin tags. That's what nail chippers were made for. And I mean, one did bleed a bit much, but only a little. It wasn't like I didn't feel lightheaded or anything. It just bled a bit more than I expected. There is one skin tag I haven't tackled, but that's because I can't actually see it to do it properly. And I really doubt I could go to my neighbour and go, "Hey, I've got a skin tag. Here's some nail chippers. Can you chop it for me?" Because it is on my butt hole. So, no, I don't fancy showing them my starfish, and but other than that, it's kind of like, to be honest, it was how we discovered I had bowel cancer, because I went to the doctor to say, look, it's kind of annoying, can we do something about it? And they went, well, yes, it is just a skin tag, but unfortunately, under current legislation kind of thing, we are mandated to check and, do the whole finger up the bum thing. And she went, right, well, I can't feel anything, it seems perfectly clear, but they do insist on you pooping on a stick, and we do a blood test. And the poop test came, poop on a stick and a blood test. And the poop on the stick came back, and they found blood in it. And I'm like, I've never seen blood in my poop. Never. Ever. Even after surgery, where they took out chunks of my bowel, I have never seen blood in my poop. Well, they found some, so they want to stick a camera. What? And so they did. And then they found a 1-inch lump in my bowel that had to be removed. And yeah. So, like a lot of these things, it's not always ideal how you find them out, but, hey, it is what it is. So, but unfortunately, it also meant that my little skin tag got forgotten about, and realistically, I need to remind the doctor, because it's still annoying, but I just don't want to do all of that again, because I can just hear them going now, oh, well, it's been a while, so we should... No, they check me every year that it's still fine. So, can we not? Can we skip that one now and just... Because apparently, unlike other countries and some doctors, will deal with it there and then, because they just freeze them and chop them. I mean, as I said, I do it myself with a pair of friggin' nail chippers, but I can't see it. If it was on, say, my leg or my arm, it would have been gone. I'd have done that by now. That would have been long gone. But it's not, so it's not. Which is a little frustrating because, well, it's still there. And... oh, crap, I meant to phone the man about my car, and I didn't. Oh, what did I do? I remember starting... I don't have ADHD that I'm aware of. I was diagnosed as hyperactivity when I was a kid, but of course, that is kind of the same thing. But it's not, because it's not got the, it's not got today's letters against it, so it doesn't quite count the same. So actually, let's put you two in here, because, well, I need to divide you up. Put you two in there for a minute, and we'll lengthen you slightly. Put you two in here, like this, so that you two are all out the way, and nobody's loose, and I can't lose any of you. Right. Let's start with the next bit. So yes, I'm kind of practical when it comes to medical stuff, though. I'm not going to say I don't worry. I don't like needles. I worry about needles. Got a real big thing about needles. But actual operations, the operation itself, it is what it is. They go in, they chop out a bit, they slice a bit, they whatever they're doing, chop, chop, poke, poke, whatever it is. Because I've had some operations. I had an operation where they put a metal pole in my leg. I had an operation where they took the metal pole out of my leg because they screwed it up when they put it in. I've had bowel surgery. I've had surgery on my nose to make it straighter after having broken it 20 years previously and not been able to breathe out of half of it for 20 years. And it came about for some really strange reason. They decided I had sleep apnea, and I was kind of like, no, not really. But, well, do you wake up at night? Well, yes. Why do you wake up at night? No freaking idea. I wake up because I wake up. So they put me on a machine, and it's like, well, you stop breathing like 6 times an hour. Really? That's a lot. Oh, no. We don't consider it a loss until it's over 100 times an hour. But that's more than 1 a minute. Yeah. And so I was kind of... But they gave me the machine, and the machine didn't really help, because all it actually did was stick this humongous great face mask on me, and I hated it. And it was utterly unsexy. I mean, not that I'm all about being sexy, but Jesus Christ, even your mother couldn't love that. And, but what it did mean with all the tubes and the crap sticking out of it is that you couldn't move. Well, because I couldn't really move, I slept all night because I didn't move. And so when I took it back, I kind of went, not really using it. Well, why not? Well, because it stopped me moving, and the moment I stopped moving, even if I didn't have the machine on and I just wore the mask, my brain thought that I was pinned down by all the tubes. So I slept all night. Oh. So they took the machine back. But they did say, well, your breathing is, we notice you breathe through your mouth. And I said, well, I have for years. And they kind of went, well, why? And I said, well, because my nose is half blocked. And being asthmatic, I don't process the oxygen very well in the first place. So if I've only got half the flow in, and I'm only kind of, cycling half the amount I need, well, now I'm only getting a quarter of the amount I need. So, I had to breathe through my mouth, otherwise I'd kind of fall over a bit. And they kind of went, And they sent me to see an ENT, and they went, oh, yes, we've got some stents, hope you don't mind, whatever. Oh, yes, you've got a deviated septum. Well, yeah, I smashed it. And I had a scar all the way up inside my nose, where the rest of my face went. It went from the bottom, underneath my lip, all the way up my hair, all the way up my face, all the way up my nose, and probably up to my brain cells, I don't know. Because, well, it was done by one of my teeth. That's fine, I know, you know, not desperately upset by that. But didn't want to do that. What did annoy me was that because it literally goes from the bottom of my chin all the way up my nose, and I get a lot of migraines. Ever since my car accident, I get a really lot of migraines, like daily, frankly. And some of them can last 6 weeks, and it's the same one. And I asked the doctor once, well, I've never had a head scan. Would that be a good idea? Oh, no. And I went, well, why not? And he goes, well, why would it? And I went, well, because where did the tooth go? And he kind of went, I see your point, but that wouldn't cause it. Well, how do you know? I've only ever had migraines since my car accident. And if the scar goes all the way up my nose to the point of, you know, I can't tell anymore, can we kind of take aim that the tooth went up there somehow? Now, sure, it may have gone up, down, and I spat it out or something, but we don't know that. Can we just take one for good measure? No, I don't think so. So, as far as I know, there's a tooth up there causing all of this. And one day, if I ever have a head scan and they discover my tooth is up there, I am going on a warpath. I'm going to find all the people who told me that it could not possibly be, and, you know, have words, because, well, where else? It was definitely travelling upwards, didn't come down, so why couldn't it be up there? You know? But, you know, the students were really, you know, wanted to have a quick look, and he sort of went, well, have you got any questions? And I went, yeah, have they got any questions? They're students, they're here to learn. Do you want to ask anything? And you know, no holds barred. Do you want to ask anything? And they were like, oh my God, she doesn't hate us. And I'm like, of course not. You're students, you're here to learn. If you want to ask a question, ask a freaking question. And I've always been very practical in that sense, with medical stuff. When I had my bowel surgery, you know, I know that the doctor took me to the furthest part of the hospital he could, you know, so that when the wailing and the gnashing ensued, that you know, I wouldn't upset other patients. And he kind of went, you know, well, when they took the biopsy, and I went, so they didn't get a clear margin. And he kind of went, and then he took another 90 minutes to explain that they didn't get a clear margin, and that they were going to have to, and that it was cancerous. And I'd already worked out that, judging by Googling and, you know, a bit of common sense, because although Googling is bad for you when it comes to medical things, you know, if you've already had you've already had a bit of you removed, and you know roughly how big it is, and you know what it looked like, because I saw it on a screen, you know, you can make some form of informed decision. You can go, well, you know, in my case, it looked pink and normal, so that's a good sign. But due to its size, it is quite likely to be, if not cancerous, pre-cancerous, and it will be eventually. So they'll probably want it, but they did take it out, so there was always hope, right? So after finding he hadn't done a clear margin, he kind of went, well, you know, we'll chop it out, right? And I'm kind of going, okay, well, you're right, are you going to zap it? You're going to nuke it with drugs, or are you going to chop it? And he's kind of like, and I said, so are we going to do chemo as well as chop it? Or, you know, in case it's spread, or we go, oh, well, I'll take a load of lymph nodes when we do it, and you know, we'll check, and because if it spread to those, then it could have spread elsewhere. And it's like, okay, fine. And he goes, well, it will leave a scar. And I kind of went, well, is it bigger than the one on my hip? And he looked at me and went, well, how big's the one on your hip? And I went, 8 inches. And he went, oh, yes. And I went, okay. Now, of course, most women would cry at the idea of an 8-inch scar on their hip, let alone a 15-inch scar up the middle of your stomach. Bear in mind, it goes from chest to nethers, right? And I kind of went, whatever. I'm no swimsuit model, you know, it really doesn't matter. No one's going to notice. I'm single, you know, my dogs don't care. I'm not going to be looking at it particularly, so yeah, whatever. And, you know, when he'd done the operation, and it came out better than I feared, to be honest, because there was a big chance of a colostomy bag, and I didn't get one. And why is that 3 bobbins, not 4. This suggests that there is a stray somewhere. It's possibly you, actually. Let's take you and put you here because I feel better. Right, and yeah, and you know, I had my operation. I was cheery afterwards. I joked with him before I went in that I was going in on a Friday, and I said I want to leave by Monday, and he goes, "Oh no, you'll need at least a week to 2 weeks." And I went, "No," and I was right. Monday, I was basically fit to go home. If I didn't have these 2 dogs, if I had my older dogs that I had before these 2, I'd have gone home on the Monday. But I stayed. I made the place cheery for a bit, and you know, when I saw him next, he was like, "Everyone in the ward loved you. You were such a positive force." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm chronically depressed." But at the same time, hello to my new fellow roommates. We might as well get on, you know, camaraderie and, wartime spirit and all that, And so we did. And, when I left, traditionally, when I leave hospital, my ex-husband brings it, but traditionally we have always left goodies for the nurses because they've looked after me and not killed me off. So, the nurses like me because I was always helpful. I tried not to be a bother. I did what I was told, mostly. And all those kinds of things. And, I tried to be reasonably friendly with the others. There was one lady I really didn't like. Funnily enough, it was only after I'd left the hospital I realised I'd met her before. I didn't particularly like her the first time, so, I suddenly realised, oh my God, she was the lady I spent ages talking to outside Gloucester Hospital. And it was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, so, it was one of those kind of moments. But, I get on with it. I trust you to do your job. I trust you to do it to the best of your ability. So, there's no point me fighting it. There's no point me pretending that I know better than you, because, well, you're the one that trained to do this. I didn't. If you were talking computers, that's my deal. I can probably outdo you on that. But in terms of biology, I know I've got some. I know that I know which bit of me is wrong. I understand some of most of the consequences of it. But you do whatever you do. You're going to put me to sleep. I'll either wake up or I don't. You'll either fix it or you won't. If you won't, you'll come up with another plan. And if it can't be fixed, well, it can't be fixed. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just can't be fixed. And I am really annoyingly practical with it. And to an extent, they're not ready for that. They're so not used to it. They're so not used to people who will just go, okay, so those are the facts. Great. Not particularly. Yeah, okay. I can't say I'm pleased, but, wasn't on my bucket list to be having 8 inches of bowel removed. But I did, so, that was, 2 years ago now? So yeah, it's just, was it 3 years ago? It was a while ago. I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look up when it was. I mean, I was still answering work questions in my hospital bed because I was bored. To the point that about 3 months later, round about Christmas, my boss sent me a message and went, "Liz, did you have this time off?" "Yes." "Oh." He hadn't even noticed I got signed off for 12 weeks after being in hospital for a week. So I had technically 13 weeks off, and he didn't even notice. It's because I was still working from hospital, so I was always around, so it wasn't like, where's Liz? No, Liz was still working. Liz was on her phone because there was nothing better to be doing, because we didn't have a TV or a radio or anything in the hospital. So, yeah, I get answering work questions. I mean, I didn't log in. That should have been a bit of a hint. But I was answering Teams questions, and I actually think I did some on call while I was off. I seem to recall I didn't get marked off as not on call because, well, they'd forgotten I wasn't there, even though I did tell them and sent them the thing. But I still got paid for all my on-calls. So technically I was on call while I was off sick. Oops. But we didn't get any call-outs, so it didn't really matter. It wasn't a big deal. Everyone lived, you know. No lives, no animals were harmed in the making of this story, you know. But yeah, he was really surprised about... Because he said, you said you'd want to go home quick. And I went, well, no point sitting around in your hospital bed when there's nothing wrong with me. I can go and sit at home and, you know, enjoy my own bed and my own food and my own TV and my own. And, you know, and no offence, but it's nicer at home. So, you know, I wanted to go home. And he was like, we need more of you. And I went, no, you don't. I'm not the one to be wishing for. More people with that attitude, perhaps, but not more of me. No. No one ever needs more of me. Although, the world should be very grateful. There nearly was more of me. I do tell this story. And I despite all my problems, despite all my complications in life, despite all my things that drag me down, there is one thing that I am eternally grateful for. I was a twin. The other didn't survive. The world would not have handled two of me. I can tell you that now. The world would not have handled two of me. I couldn't handle two of me, let alone the rest of you. Dear God, two of me. No. Nobody needs that in their life. Which also means, should I have had children, there would have been a much more significant chance of me having twins. Dear God, no, I didn't need that. It's funny because when it comes to cats, dogs, well, animals in general, you don't see many twins. They're never referred to as twins. They have litter mates, but they're not twins. Now, I guess because biologically, potentially, a lot of animals, I won't say can't have twins, but lots of animals have multiple eggs that get impregnated, so that each animal is its own individual animal, and not a twin, a quadruple, or however many are in your litter. But there must be twins in the animal world, surely. Can't just be a human thing. I mean, you get double yolk eggs. Does that count as twins if that got fertilised? You do get conjoined animals. Were they counted as twins? Or are they just conjoined animals? I feel a Google coming on. To find out. Because I'm sure the answer is they do have twins, we just don't tend to think of it like that. Alexa, do animals have twins?
According to what Alexa answers completely. Absolutely, in fact, it's quite common. Animals often have multiple births, and twins is just one way they do that.
There you go, animals do have twins. We just don't tend to think of it that way, I think, is part of it. You know, if your dog has 12 puppies, do you think of them as 12? You know, they may not be identical to look at, but if they were all spawned from the same starting point, are they not potentially, you know, then, you know, you get identical twins and just twins. Well, then surely they are, you know, non-identical you know, insert however many, the equivalent of twins, you know, quadruplets, septuplets, octuplets, whatever it is. Surely they are just non-identical whatevers, you know? But we don't, we just tend to call them puppies, kittens, you know, a litter of. Really, these bobbins should be a bit more of the same length. Would be helpful. Edgy's getting a bit bare this side. Let's turn him round. He's absolutely naked all along here, look. Ah, I got itchy ear again, hang on. I get eczema in my ears and in my hair, which is really irritating. Kind of seem to have an answer to the hair scenario at the moment. It'll work for ages and then it'll suddenly stop, which is what usually happens to me. But I bought some stuff, this stuff. It's called Skin Salvation and comes in a tub, obviously. Everything in my life's in a tub. But that does seem to help. I'm not going to say it fixes it, but it does seem to help, which, frankly, is a good start, you know? Can't have everything, but it is a good start. It's hard to put in your ears, though, obviously, because you have to stick someone into your finger and then stick it in your ears, so you can't put a great dobble in your ear, because then it would be horrible, because it's one of those things is you don't want too much of it, because it just kind of is greasy and horrible, and it smells a bit funny as well. But at the same time, a small amount smeared around the inside of your ear does really seem to help. Certainly seems to help with the hair, the frontal hairline and my face a bit, because I get scabby bits and stuff on my face as well. does seem to assist, at least. I mean, I can still rub my forehead, and it's kind of like Dandruff City, but you have to kind of rub at it now, whereas before it was a little bit more... I mean, it doesn't look like it in some ways, you know, it's not like you look at it and it looks like I'm flaky, scabby, horrible, because, you know, just so you don't have the wrong picture. But at the same time, it's almost if you do this, then it starts flaking, making tiny little flakes. And as someone who touches her face far too much, it happens quite a bit. So that stuff is really helping with that. I do, of course, forget to do it quite a bit, but in some ways, not doing it too much is also good. So, as a child, I was diagnosed asthmatic, and I was told, you know, you've got to suck on this inhaler, you know, 3 times a day, and you've got to suck on this one twice a day. And I kind of went, yeah, okay. And I never did. I only ever took them when I had a problem. And the doctor said to me one time, he went, you haven't asked for a replacement for your inhaler for ages. And I kind of went, no, I haven't. He said, why not? And I said, well, because I don't use it every day. He went, well, what do you do? And I said, well, when I feel it coming on, I use it. If I don't, I don't. And he said, it's not necessarily wrong, because, you know, obviously the brown one is steroidal, and long-term steroids are not good for you. And if you're doing all right that way, then it clearly is the right answer. And considering, you know, here I am, I'm going to be 53 this year, and it's been, well, I was diagnosed asthmatic at age 11, so, you know, we're talking the best part of 42 years. Clearly it does work for me, because 99.999% of the time, you wouldn't know I was asthmatic. Now, if you watch me do exercise, it's very clearly asthmatic, but at the same time, I'm also not particularly fit, so it's a bit of a mixture of the bag, but... it was, you know, I do wheeze occasionally, I do take my asthma stuff occasionally, usually when I've got a cold, and I'm getting a bit of a chest infection, and I don't want it to get nasty in the first place, right? So I take my asthma stuff as a preventative, should I be, you know, having a bit of a wheeze and a cough, and I will take my asthma stuff. Other than that, if I ain't wheezing, I ain't taking. And I got told off because obviously my original doctor from when I was a child does not practice anymore. In fact, I think he died. And the nurse up here had a go at me, and she was like, you can't do that. And I said, well, my doctor was more than happy with how I did that, and he has never had a problem with it. And she goes, oh, well, how many times have you been hospitalised? And I went, truthful answer? None. And she looked at me, and because at the time I was in the middle of an asthma attack, and that was why I'd gone to the doctor. And I'd been taking my stuff, and it hadn't been helping. And she was like, oh, that can't be right. And I said, fine, look at my records. You will not find a trip to the hospital resulting in any form of stay. I went once because I hadn't taken my asthma shit with me, and the local doctor where I was staying refused to see me, so I had to go to the hospital to get asthma medication, so they obviously had to see and look at me first, but other than that, I have not needed to go to the hospital. Well, he must have done. There's a couple of times when it might have been a good idea, but I got over it. It's alright, I'm still good. Well, asthma kills. Your asthma kills because you panic. Asthma kills because you panic, you require more oxygen, the one freaking thing you're not getting. If you don't panic, your odds are greatly increased rather. And as a result, I don't panic. I realise that this will pass. And if it won't pass, by not panicking, it gives me more time to get help. So I sit down and I am as calm and as still I almost try and go to sleep, because when you sleepy, you need the least amount of oxygen that your body can get, because everything slows down. So I basically tried to go to sleep. And she looked at me like I'd grown a head. And I said, well, I can try running around trying to scream that I can't breathe when I haven't got any air to scream with. Or I can keep calm, make better use of the oxygen that I am getting, such as it is, and it will pass. And it always has. And it always will. Because I know exactly where my asthma medication is. Even with not a lot of oxygen in my soul, I can get that far to go and get it. The only reason I'm here today is because it's not working. Yeah, she was very unhappy. Because she was wrong. Because when she took my peak flow meter, because she thought I was exaggerating, she nearly had a heart attack. I barely was shifting air, and yet I had this conversation. I was calm, I was collected, I was wheezing, I was going blue at the edges, which I do. I have gone almost this colour on some parts of my body. I smurf is what I call it. I do smurf. I go blue. And she thought I was, even though I was slightly blue, she thought I was, almost deliberately making it look worse. So she took my peak flow meter. She took me seriously after that. She was like, you need to breathe. No, I am. Promise you. This is the best breath that I can muster. And I realise it says barely over 100, and that's kind of disturbing, but, that's all I've got. Sorry. Yeah, she was a bit nicer after that. My problem is if I do too much more, it's going to be really late before it uploads. I have to upload it tomorrow. We shall see. Because I would like to get to the end of this triangle. Feel like I've accomplished something. That reminds me. looks completely feeble. Mm. Looks alright when you look really close. Just looks a bit wonky. Still long. It's funny how some of them have got much fatter necks than the others. Itchy our finger. It's the only problem. When you come to take the pins out, I almost now have to do them one by one so that I can shove them in Hedgie. What I really should do, of course, is take them out of the work as I go. That'd be a really freaking sensible idea, wouldn't it? But let's take these out and fill Hedgie back up. It takes much longer to take them out if you do them this way. I'm just stabbing Hedgie when I'm off screen, but I apologise. But it's easier for me to see him and look for holes where to stab pins. Oh look, ad time. And I haven't finished the section, but I thought I'd populate Hedgie back up a bit. And then, if I populate it with this next time round, what we'll do is we will, when we get to the next section, we will steal them off the work, because that tends to work quite well. And I don't ever think about it. I always look to the pin cushions, or the pin pot, so let's stop looking to the pin pot and go with the ones that we already have. It's not that we can't use the pin pot, but why have to do like I am now, one by one, poking them in a hedgehog, and then one by one extracting them out of the hedgehog. 3 seconds later, when I could just pull them one at a time out of the work in front of me. And obviously you've got to get going, but poor old Hedgie's looking a bit fat now. Right, there's little Hedgie, looking far more spiny than he was a moment ago. So, we need the 4 of you. Tenchi! My friend! How are you? How am I? I'm doing all right. Rory had a good day today. Rory has a thing for men who come to work on my neighbour's house. Well, he has a thing for men up ladders, I think is possibly more accurate, but he's had a couple of serious bro crushes. And a little while ago, so sometime last year, we had some fairly good storms and damage to fences, and next door got a fence company out, and I kind of went, as half my fences blew down, any chance you could do as a job? And they kind of went, oh yeah, that'll be easy, we can do that this afternoon for like, a tenth almost of what I was expecting. And I was like, done. And his bro crush came into the garden. You should have seen him. If you've seen the meme of the dog who's looking at a vet, like, love personified is standing in front of it. He kind of pulls that face. And he's like absolutely enamoured with this poor fence guy. Anyway, today Rory met a bloke called Phil. And Phil is a gutter cleaner, so the gutters round your roof. And Phil will be coming next week. Rory doesn't entirely understand this yet, but his bro crush will be back next week. But his bro crush patted him on the head today. You should have seen it. It was like a 12-year-old girl when the boy had spoken to her. Kind of thing, right? It really was the most hysterical thing. And Amy's sitting there, almost looking, shaking her head, going, oh, Jesus, you're so wet. It was, if I could draw, there would be a fantastic comic in that. Tench, I am also working on something for the stream. Now, as you know, I have Twitch ads. Not that I get paid a lot from Twitch ads. I think most I've ever been paid out of Twitch for an ad for any of my things. Yeah, for the stream. So the idea is that at the moment, you get a little countdown box that tells you that the ads are coming and then the ads are here. So it counts down for while the ads are here. And even if you don't get ads, I expect that you aren't here for the countdown timer. Well, what I'm planning is a small animation where somebody is sitting watching it on telly. I know, obviously, you don't really watch Twitch on telly, but you can, so it's not entirely infeasible. But basically, watches it on telly, it pops up with Twitch ads, and they get up, they do a little bit of stretch and a move, pat the dog. Well, exactly, I've done it. I've thrown Twitch on the TV. I've got a Twitch app on my telly, and I can watch Twitch streams on it. So, but the idea being is that, the little person in my animation gets up, does a bit of a stretch, touches their toes, do a little bit of movement, pats the dog, goes to the kitchen, gets a drink, mooches about a little bit, hugs the dog, and it will be a 3-minute animation, i.e. they will sit down just as the Twitch ads claim to come off, right? And I will run that each time the Twitch ads, so it's kind of like, time to go and, stand up and move about a bit, stop sitting around and... Well, it will be if I pull it off. But let me show you. So, let me show you around, because I showed everyone around yesterday. So, this is my person. I did not make the person. But I made everything else. So, I've got the windows and there's some curtains. Yeah, they're really dumb looking curtains. I've got a couch, a rug, a light and everything. And she lives in a kind of bungalow, because that's technically going to be a bathroom. She doesn't sleep anywhere. I might make that a bedroom with a kind of toilet in the corner and a kitchen. I've made a floor for the kitchen, by the way. I forgot I'd done that. Well, I didn't forget I'd done that. I just didn't tell anyone I'd done that. So this is my kitchen. There are little cupboards. I'm going to make them a bit more cupboardy and shit first. But the idea will be is there'll be like a kettle and some mugs and a sink and a tap and a, you know, a table and some other crap in there to make it a bit more kitcheny. And then she'll probably pop in here for a quick pee, because, you know, well, that's the thing. And then come back, sit down, you know, there'll be a TV and, you know, or a computer desk or something, probably a TV because it's a lot easier, and sit down and it'll, you know, the Twitch logo will come off, you know, with ads are in the corner kind of thing, will pop off and, you know, and it will be at the end. So I'm planning, and what I can do with her, of course, is I've got to make all the animations. That T-pose is all she's got. So she's got really beefy arms at the moment from standing with her arms out, because if you've ever tried that, your arms don't half get heavy. But I've got an animation thing. I'm gonna, you know, I've got a walking animation already, but I can make, you know, touching toe animations and, you know, a bit of twisting the arms thing and, you know, all of that. So I thought I'd do a little bit of that. Got to find a dog. Got to find a low poly dog. Well, I thought it would be a little bit more. I mean, I'm never going to be one of these streamers who has an editor and an animator and you know, and a this and a that, because frankly I don't expect any of you to watch it. So I'm never going to be in a position where I can afford to pay for someone else to do anything. But I did feel that this should be within my capability. Now, do not get me wrong. Making that lamp in the corner, freaking nightmare! Oh my Jesus God. Anyway, but I have made a working lamp. You know, it's even got the little light spot at the top and everything. It's not as easy as you might think, because you'd think put a little ball of light in it and the lampshade would cause a shadow. No. Don't know why, but no. Anyway, so there's a whole pile of annoyances, and I'm not even going to go into it, because you may notice that although there are lights, for example, let me talk about it. So there's a light in here. Well, and this is the problem, but so I've got a light in here, but there's no light in here and no light in the hallway, but they're not dark. And this is due to weirdness, because I've turned the light off, because if I turn the light on, it does funky shit. And you get like light lines in funny places and shadows and weird shit. So hence, well, that can sod off. But I don't know where this light's coming from. So yeah. But either way, I started that yesterday. All I really did today was, oh fuck off! Like there's something that simple. But what I am doing is today I made the windows and the curtains, the rug, and put the kitchen floor in with a pattern floor so it wasn't just a plain boring colour. I want to find a rug kind of looking thing, but I want it to be fairly simple, but I want it to look like a rug, so that's going to be interesting. I need a bit of texture on that. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't make textures. I can make graduated fading things, but I'm not a great expert in any of that. But I'm also not a great 3D expert. Now, I'm building this not in Blender, as you might expect, because I suck at Blender. I'm doing all of this inside Unity. So I'm using the tools that Unity gives us for free. And so I'm using Pro Builder to build all of the items in there. So the lamp, the couch, the only first thing I did do is she is a bought asset. I paid for her. She came with a bunch of other things. She's actually a peasant girl, which is why she's got an apron on. I wonder if you can turn her apron off. I've got a tool that could probably turn her apron off, make her look a little bit more housewifey, or something. A bit more normal. Or I could replace her with somebody else. I've got plenty of other people, low poly people from the same people. But I've gone with low poly because, well, I stand a chance of making some low poly items because, well, they're low poly. They're not photorealistic and don't need 16 hours of tweaking, so that should be good. I need to make a sink. I need to make probably a toilet and a bed. But I could probably manage that. Give or take a bit. I could probably manage that. I can make some chairs. I can make a kitchen table. Again, sort of. I'm no expert, but it'll be rough, but it'll be semi-feasible. So yeah, I thought it would be in my remit to provide, and I also thought then that maybe I could also do something for the beginning and the end of the stream, make a little bit of animation. So, you know, I know she's got, maybe that other room isn't really a bedroom, it's more of an office, and we'll pretend that there are stairs somewhere in the house, and that, you know, she can stop work and, you know, come in, sit down, turn the TV on and start watching Twitch. You know, stuff like that I could maybe have for the start of the thing, rather than just my little picture and a countdown timer. But because I've got an animation tool, I can kind of make her do a lot of things. So I was hoping to pour a cup of coffee or something. It would be instant. It would not be a full percolator job, sod off. But, you know, she could do that. She could heat a snack, you know, put something in a toaster, you know. Something along those lines, you know, work on it. Try not to give myself too big a goal. But just something where she kind of twists around a bit, does a few kind of toe touches. Hopefully find a dog she can pat, because, well, a dog or a cat, frankly, you know, I'm not gonna begrudge people. A pet of sort. If I end up it being a goat, then a goat it is, right? You know, as long as I can find a low poly animal that kind of fits. Because I can't make one, so bite me. But I thought I'd do that and kind of bring a bit more me to the duller parts of the stream, because obviously when it goes to YouTube, they see the countdown times, but they don't get the ads, right? So at least if you get the animation, it's that reminder to, you know, kind of fuck off and get a drink and go for a pee and you know, move around a little bit. Don't just sit and stare and be a couch potato. Actually do something. And I thought that'd be kind of a fun challenge, and it should be within my remit. I'm not going to do it that fast, much like everything else in my life, because of course I've got a job. Uploading the videos takes forever. I mean, it's 10:15 already. And I'm really hoping to finish this triangle today. So I may not be uploading the video today because I'm not staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning to upload a frigging video. But, and I could leave it overnight, but then I can't announce it, and you get my point, right? So I might have to announce it tomorrow. But I don't really want to leave my computer on overnight because it doesn't half suck electricity. But I did think that I would be able to do a little bit of animation, because although I am not graphically minded, and I would love to be able to be graphically minded, we met a lovely person yesterday, and they are very graphically minded, and in fact doing kind of graphics as a college stroke university type thing. And they're really quite nice. We liked them. They remind me of someone I knew before, so it was nice to meet them. And they were fascinated by what I was doing because they want to get into a bit more physical art. And it was kind of like, this isn't quite, I mean, it's physical, but I don't really think of it as art. I mean, it's not unartistic, but it's not. It would be harder to do it's harder to do pictures. I mean, you can do pictures. And I got some stuff in the post today, which is floral, admittedly, but it is a bit more picturesque, at least. But well, thank you for stopping by, Tenchi. It's been great to chat with you. Nice to see that you're doing well. I miss you, my friend. I miss you. But do come back again. Let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cheers, dude. Have a good day. Someone's just said the patch notes for something are out. Let me No, then not out. I do not see. No, patch notes are not out. Sorry, game I was playing, someone just said patch notes are out. No, they're not. Liars. Pants on fires. Right. So, pass you over there. You over there. You now to... no, I'm not going to finish this today, am I? Oh, infuriation. I really hoped I'd finish this today. But it's... really doubt I'm going to manage this in 2 hours. Less than 2 hours. So... and we're going to try pulling these pins so that... although it's a little early for that, it's not too bad. Actually, what I will do is I will, for this, I will grab pins out here so we don't too deplete the last section. It's 2 pins, poor Hedgie. Sorry, Hedge. space towards the end of this corner. In fact, past 10. Let me bring you down and out the way a little bit. So I need to lift you up and slide you under because you are mating around the pins, which is exactly what we don't want. So let's. We need to take more pins out. Actually, let's just put them in the pin cushion, in the pin pot. I'm going to spend 3 hours poking them in there. So we need pokey stick. We're going to make another layer of pins here for good measure. Then we're going to poke you down here. I want you slightly up, not this way. And keep row 2 of pins. There may be a few stray ones that get pushed as part of this because they show up looking like they're part of this row, but they're not. Like that. Then we grab these and put these in the pot. Like that. Didn't cross one. Too late now. I'm not going back. So this enables you lot to go further round without mating with everything, and you lot to be a little bit further round without mating with everything, which gives me more space here for all of you lot to go up and out the way while I'm not doing you. Put the pin pot away, because we will get to the end of this today, even if it kills me. As I say, we may not be uploading it today, but we will. We will get there. Feel right. No, because you were over here. we convert to going downwards, I think. Because we have a lot of across and a lot less down. So where's your friend? Once again, how do I have an odd number of bobbins? Your friend seems to be in here, so let's put you in here and pretend that you escaped. Right. Let's pick you out of there, because that's not a thing. Right. Now, this row down. Like that.
fear that they'll come off these ones, that's the only problem. You're technically the third rare seed.
So let's put you back over here. Pull you out of there. we did finish, and it's only 11:05. So now is the time to take out a crap ton of pins and to push down some pins and sort. these out so that we can take a decent picture, because at the moment it's a freaking nightmare over here. Right, let's... There we go. Time for a photo. And before the next stream, I will update my thing. I'll update my status picture. Photo. That's so I can get most on the screen. There we go. So, it is 11:10, having pulled out all the pins now. I finally made it to the end of this triangle. So, to be honest, we only started this 14 days ago, and I've been estimating kind of 1 week per triangle. So even though I didn't make the progress that I hoped on a number of days, we really aren't that far behind where I expected to be. I mean, I'm not saying we couldn't have done better, but now I need to... Where's my dark cloth of hopefulness? There it is. I now need to cover up this other triangle so that it's not in the way, and put all the bobbins on it, really. So let me scrape you around here and you around here, which was fairly easily done. We then flip you and we tuck you under there for a minute, and we straighten you a little bit like that, and kind of pat you down a little bit and straighten it all out like that. And of course I put the pins away. I'll get some out there instead. So we put, need to make sure we're not trapping anything. One in there. Actually, we don't want to do that because we're stupid. Stupid people do stupid things. I am a plank. I turned the square last time, didn't I? I should turn the square. Which means taking you off and take you out and you. I'll pick you. I need to put some moisturiser on my hands. They're turning sandpaper. You out of there. Which should mean you're not moving because I pinned you down over it. You're moving now. Yes, you do. So, we have actually a photo-worthy half a triangle. Do that. Right. I'm going to try and turn you round again. Now, this means piling you all on in the middle, like this, and sorting and praying that we'll sort you out later. So, let's push you out the way a little bit. Ooh, that felt funny. My nail felt really funny doing that. I need to move these pins because I'm going to keep catching my sleeve on them. And take you out because I can get my fingers underneath then. Try this lifting again. There we go. Lift you up. This was the whole reason I bought this pillow, so that you can do this. Put you down. Flip you back up. Put you down. Like that. scrape you down a little bit and try and organise some of you guys a little bit, because, well, otherwise you just get really complicated. So we can, in fact, go back to the one cloth, which is always a bonus, like this. That one cloth to cover it all. Put pins back. And then give it a bit of a pull and put one in there. It's a bit, I don't know, little. Oh, yeah. Like that. Just see the edge of the rose before. Stab you in there so that we don't get everything catching on that. And then we do the flips. So you are the last bobbin and you go over first. You need to be flatter than that. So you need to be nice and flat like that. Then we take you and we put you back in where you should be because you're escaping. I might need to tweak how strong these elastics are. They might stretch slightly. So put you over there, and we put you over there, and then you're next. But you've escaped. You go in there somewhere. So you're next, like that, and then next is you, and you are part of this, but short, so which will make you longer, so you can stand there and not be so annoying. You go over next. Why do I flip them? So they're flat, so all these threads aren't twisted round in a swirl. Because if I twist them around like this, they kind of twist around in a swirl. And, well, it's bad enough, but as you can see, some of these are a lot shorter than frankly is useful. So let's make this a bit longer, all of these a bit longer in fact, so that they can be a bit more out of the way. They don't have to be perfectly where they came from, so in fact, you aren't even next. You are the one after that, but we'll sort you out because we're here now. So, getting back, hate doing this, but that's fine. Put you back. Right. Technically, you were next. Actually. And you are short, so we will move you a bit. You're next. Flat. So let's push you that way a little bit. Just so you two are the next, like that. So we will place you this way so that the flatness of the pillow is preserved. We can put you over the top and you over the top. I'm sure I've got some more cloth somewhere. I have a lot of cloth for covering of pillars. There we go. So, there we're done. It's now 11:20. Time for me to go. I shall see you tomorrow. And tomorrow, we start a new triangle. Yay! See you there.